Hello to you, all of our viewers. A warm welcome to this edition of the news in English on Rwanda Television. My name is Sarah Shinhore. We'll begin with the headlines. President Paul Kagame has closed a two-day cabinet retreat that discussed practical steps towards sustaining a collaborative and results-driven government. Prime Minister Dr. Edouard Ngirente has presided over the official launch of the Fund for Export Development in Africa office in Rwanda. Now the details, I'm glad you're able to join us. On Wednesday at Village Rugwiro, President Paul Kagame received Tang Wenhong, China's Assistant Minister of Commerce, and his delegation who are in Rwanda for the 9th session of the Rwanda-China Joint Committee on Economic, Technical and Trade Cooperation. Their discussions covered ways forward to strengthen bilateral cooperation in areas of mutual interest. President Kagame also received Diana Jansen, Sweden's State Secretary for International Development Cooperation, and her delegation for discussions on strengthening the existing cooperation and boosting trade and investments between Rwanda and Sweden. As we just noted in the headlines, on Wednesday evening at the Intare Arena, President Kagame closed a two-day cabinet retreat that discussed practical steps towards sustaining a collaborative and results-driven government. The president emphasized the importance of having the courage to speak up and called on leaders to have the inner fire and motivation to put citizens first and deliver Rwanda's ambitions. Again, as we noted in the headlines, on Wednesday, Prime Minister Dr. Edouard Ngirente presided over the launch and official opening of the Fund for Export Development in Africa, or FIDA office in Rwanda. FIDA is poised to bolster the investment sector and facilitate the implementation of the African Continental Free Trade Area objectives. We have the details with Adams Kwizera.
Starting from March 20th, 2024, the Fund for Export Development in Africa will have its headquarters located in Kigali, Rwanda. While presiding over the launch and official opening of the Fund for Export Development in Africa, Prime Minister Dr. Edouard Ngirente highlighted some of the obstacles that hinders the implementation of the intra-Africa trade exports.
Currently, intra-Africa trade exports account for around 17% of total exports. This share is low compared to other continents. This reality indicates that our goods and services flow more readily to other continents, leaving untapped opportunities within our backyard. Some of obstacles to the effective implementation of intra-Africa trade include low trade complementarity due to low economic diversification and limited productive capacities, as well as lack of adequate infrastructure.
Initially, this fund will closely collaborate with stakeholders across various sectors, including the private sector, throughout the African continent. Additionally, it will forge strong partnerships with African countries to foster industry sector development and support significant investment projects within those nations. Francis Gatari, the Chief Executive Officer of Rwanda Development Board (RDB), underscores that Rwanda is among the countries that have reaped significant benefits from the cooperation with FIDA, particularly through industry development projects and advancements in technology and telecommunications.
With its broad focus to foster industrialization, export development across various sectors, FIDA is poised to play a very active role in bringing about the African economic integration. And so we have already witnessed its impact here in Rwanda with investments already made in ARISE, which is building Bugesera Special Economic Zone, and I hear also with the pipeline advance in liquid telecoms here in Rwanda.
Professor Benedict Orama, the president and the chairman of the board of directors of the Africa Export-Import Bank, emphasizes that the primary objective of this fund is to elevate the economic status of countries across the African continent by leveraging their abundant natural resources.
But its impact is far-reaching. It marks a crucial step to realizing our shared aspirations of building the African economy with our own resources and institutions. History that has taught us that whether in China, India, Japan, or the Korean Republic in Asia, or whether in Brazil in Latin America, or countries of the Middle East, reliance on domestic capital and institutions was the primary driver of their economic successes.
This was also found by the Prime Minister, Dr. Edouard Ngirente, who emphasized that this fund will not only bolster investment levels in exporting goods and services across the continent, but will also play a vital role in fostering sustainable economic advancement for local citizens.
This will not only empower businesses to thrive and create jobs, but also to drive sustainable economic progress for our people. I also note with satisfaction FEDA's commitment to support African entrepreneurs and the companies in developing the vast potential of export markets on the continent.
The Fund for Export Development in Africa, FEDA, operates as a subsidiary of the African Export-Import Bank, AFRIXIM, and has recently secured a total $650 million to bolster investment projects across the African continent. Adams Quizera, RwandaTV News.
Thank you, Adams. Now, analysts and other experts affirm that working on the goals and commitments contained in Rwanda's vision have become one of the drivers of the country's progress over the last 30 years after the end of the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi. We have more with Prince Manzi.
After the genocide against the Tutsi, everything was urgent. On the international scale, Rwanda was seen through its darkest history. For many, the future of this country was impossible to picture. Even before the genocide, there was little life expectancy. The genocide was initiated and the least expectancy available vanished. And the country was damaged in all factors. When you base on the experience, you are able to see where you are going. What keeps us going is the good leadership. At the forefront is President Paul Kagame, who stopped the genocide, built the nation, and we can see the future in his vision. Dissemination of community development infrastructures, including water, electricity, schools, health centers, and more, and no area left behind across the country, is one of the events that has plagued the community to deal with the effects of the genocide against the Tutsi. Gisagara district is an example of a district that was left behind, but now they have reached a point of development as an example of what is possible. You cannot displace me from here to Kigali, and I allow it. Nothing is in Kigali that is not also in Gisagara. All the things that we used to not have, they are now available here. Citizens also affirm their commitment to preserve the achieved, including hotels, recreational facilities, and more. Honorable Mariros Mureshyankwano, a senator in Rwanda's parliament, demonstrates that what was achieved in Rwanda for the last 30 years deprived from a visionary leadership. The most precious is having a good leadership. The country was destroyed by misleading leadership and resurrected by good leadership. The life expectancy rose from 40 to 70 years. With good leadership, unity and working hard, the country will continue to prosper as we want. Honorable Tito Rutaremara, a politician and analyst, confirms that all that was achieved, the basis, was the reunification of the people after a long time of division. Based on the implementation of the contents of the vision that Rwanda has given itself in the past, now and in the future, Honorable Tito confirms that Rwanda will achieve even more. We did a lot, but what awaits is even much more. An example is that these powerful nations that played part in or destroyed our nation are way developed than us. Getting to them is possible, but requires working fast. If they go on a 10% speed, we need to move on a 90% speed. This requires working hard. In an effort to improve the country at large, Rwanda has chosen to work on 3 pillars that include social transformation activities. Major activities are included in the economic and social pillars. The fulfillment of the pledges contained in it has led to an increase in the level of infrastructures distributed in communities annually. Prince Manzi, RwandaTV News.
Thank you, Prince. The Ministry of Health and its partners on Tuesday awarded 500 scholarships to students studying midwifery in 3 private universities. Olive Nete with more.
The Midwifery Scholarship Program aims to grant 500 bursaries distributed among 3 educational institutions, specifically the Université Catholique de Kabgayi, which will award scholarships to 98 students, East African Christian College to 240 students, and Kibogora Polytechnique to 162 students. These scholarships will support both A1 degree holders and bachelor's degree pursuits. Recipients express gratitude, noting the program's potential to alleviate financial barriers and facilitate uninterrupted academic journeys. I'm happy to be part of the people that received this scholarship. When we applied, we were so many, but they picked a few among us. I had various challenges such as school fees, since at my home place, we are many and we all want to study, and it was really hard for our parents to find the necessities for us all.
For 20 years I have worked as a nurse in the hospital, but I couldn't upgrade my degree due to financial challenges. However, with this scholarship, I now have the opportunity to enhance my knowledge and skills.
Officials representing schools that receive these scholarships say that this will increase the number of students who come to study health-related subjects, as this will alleviate the concern of financial constraints among students.
First and foremost, these scholarships will enable us to increase the number of students in health sciences. Previously, financial constraints hindered many potential students from pursuing these programs. However, with these scholarships, we now have provided opportunities for those with the desire and capability to join, despite facing financial challenges.
Dr. Anita Asimwe, Chief of Party of the USAID Ireme project in Rwanda, specifies the components of the scholarships. In this particular project, we have invested significantly in the scholarships. The 500 students will receive full tuition fees and living allowances, enabling them to pursue their degrees without financial hindrances. This support will reduce dropout rates often associated with financial constraints during academic pursuits. Dr. Nyeshimana Menelas, Head of Department of Health Workforce Development at the Ministry of Health, points out that increasing the number of midwives will help reduce the risk of maternal deaths.
We aim to enhance and advance the midwifery profession alongside other healthcare fields to effectively reduce maternal mortality. This initiative not only addresses the urgent need to reduce maternal deaths, but also ensures that maternity ward services meet patient demands appropriately, since quality service delivery includes skilled professionals and manageable patient loads. This is why our efforts target increasing skilled personnel, ensuring that services are provided appropriately.
Currently in Rwanda, the number of midwives practicing this profession is only 2,000. This shows the gap that is evident in this field of medicine. The government has set itself the goal of quadrupling the number of healthcare professionals within 4 years. Olive Nete, RwandaTV News.
Thank you, Olive. Now, in a press conference, the Ministry of Agriculture and Animal Resources, in conjunction with the International Trade Development Agency, presented the agro-food exhibition in partnership with the Rwanda Convention Bureau. The event will focus on bringing in large companies from around the world in order to improve the agricultural sector here in Rwanda. We have the details with Cedric Irakoze.
Rwanda's stability, its economic growth and business-friendly environment make it an attractive investment destination. In 2022, it attracted $1 billion in investments, particularly in infrastructures and constructions, drawing interest from regional and international experts. Director General of Animal Resources Development for Ministry of Agriculture, Mr. Jean-Claude Ndorimana, says that this event will be one of the solutions of food security and adds that it is country's responsibility to satisfy its citizens.
Feeding the citizen is the mandate of the government. They need to feed their people, and also the government, through different partners, they contribute in different fields in order to face that challenge of people going to bed hungry, and it's a process.
Mrs. Marie-Grace Jibril, Director General of the IFP, also says that the most important benefits is that there will be studies on both sides and specialists from different countries. She added that there will be a need to identify weaknesses and strengthen among of them, and the issue of storage of food and equipment.
Also, the benefit from meeting exhibitors, they will learn from each other. You will get the expertise from them, and as well they will get, for sure, at each company there is some threat and weakness and power. So, for example, I'll add on, for example, packaging. Packaging is very important for farmers. This is very sectors we need to tackle on it. So some companies, they go abroad for packaging. So why not? They will come here.
This project will focus on other activities such as animal health, agriculture, technology, and packaging and food processing. Cedric Irakoze, RBA News.
Thank you, Cedric. The Development Bank of Rwanda has signed an agreement with the Kigali Independent University that will see the construction of eco-friendly hostels for students. The loan agreement has an interest rate of just 12% per annum. We have the details on that. ELK has been facing a problem of not being able to provide lodging for many of its foreign students who were being forced to find their own accommodation near the university. Hence the reason why this agreement with BRD is important. They were seeking accommodation elsewhere, which was proving difficult for them, and so we decided to build our own hostels. We went to different banks for financing, and BRD's offer was by far the best, providing state-of-the-art hostels that will provide accommodation to close to 1,200 students on our own land that will be able to hold 26 such units. The state-of-the-art eco-friendly hostels being constructed at Gisozi will be able to save up to 39.3% more water than conventional buildings, 44% for electricity, and the construction process itself has been reducing harmful emissions by 38%. We provided the technical assistance they needed to make the project green and sustainable. BRD paid for that. We also helped them to get the Hedge International certificate from FC so that Rwanda and its partners that support IREME can affirm that the project is really green. We are happy that ELK was able to meet all international standards, especially reducing carbon emissions by 38%. The loan provided by IREME Investment came from the French Development Agency that provided Rwanda with 20 million euros in November last year, equivalent to more than 25 billion Rwandan francs. Bralirwa distributors across the country are praising the company's new brewery facilities, saying they will speed up the delivery of products and put an end to delays. We have more on that as well. The facilities that have been built at Bralirwa's factory in Rubavu district have drastically increased the company's output.
Our capacity now was 1,750,000 hectoliters of beer per year. With this extension, we will have 200,000 hectoliters more in phase 1. We call it Geseni Plus. And in this spring, we will finalize completely the project and we will have 200 more. It means to serve our consumer, we will globally increase our capacity with 400,000 hectoliters more, which is huge. And we are confident it will be enough for the coming 10 years or 5 years.
The company's distributors are delighted about the new development. It was difficult for us because demand far outweighed supply, which they obviously recognized because they invested the necessary funds to be able to meet the demand of the market. Obviously, we are now going to get more drinks. Packaging is also going to be fast and not like before when it took 2 to 3 days or several hours. Orders that used to take 4 hours to fulfill will now take just 2 because production levels are now up. However, as the company's executives explain, it's not just about increasing productivity.
We started to be constrained by lack of capacity for the domestic market. So it was really, really key for us and for our consumers. But also for quality of our brands. We are already at maximum standard, international standard, as you could see when you visited. And we will develop more new technology. It will support us for innovations and also sustainability, reducing water consumption, electricity or energy consumption globally. And we are working on circularity for water. So it was really, really important to put this new line.
The objective is not only to meet Rwanda's demand, because the market potential stretches far beyond the country's borders. They are now producing to be able to satisfy Rwanda's market and have something left over for other markets as well. I believe that you are aware that Bralirwa has a production section dedicated to Heineken, and that product is not produced by many African countries. I believe in this region such facilities are found in Rwanda and Ethiopia only, so you understand that this is an opportunity to export beers made in Rwanda. As much as $30 million was spent to revamp the 67-year-old factory, an initiative that is also in line with helping the country to meet its 2030 emission goals. The Water and Sanitation Corporation, in collaboration with the Japan International Corporation Agency, have officially unveiled a major pipeline supplying water to more than 450,000 people in the sectors of Nduba and Gisozi here in Kigali. We have the details. The local residents in the two sectors praised the initiative, noting that before they got the pipeline, access to clean water was a problem, forcing children to drop out of school to be able to make long journeys to the nearest source, and a lot of money was being spent on buying water. WASAC's partners say they will continue working with the corporation to maintain the major pipeline.
Yes, it's already part of the project. It's kind of OJT. So during the 3 years process of the project, we shared all the technology and the skills with the WASAC staffs. So they are very enough capable to maintain the facility in good condition.
The most important assistance in the water sector in Rwanda by Japanese government. It was the water problem was a long-standing issues for inhabitants of the Kigali city, and I hope that this project would contribute to improve water supply for whole cities of Kigali and satisfy the needs of the people. We are ready for continuing our support in a technical cooperation through our cooperation agency, JICA.
Rwanda's government is not only determined to ensure that such vital infrastructure reaches different parts of the country, but that it remains properly maintained to be able to meet the growing demand in Rwanda.
We've been having a challenge in terms of maintenance and sustaining the various water supply systems across the country. One of the key government reforms in this aspect was to restructure WASAC, which was divided into WASAC Development and WASAC Utility, and to make sure that each district has its own branch. And in addition to that, as we reform WASAC as an entity, we are creating dedicated teams at the central level, meaning at the headquarters of WASAC Group, but also at the branch level. We are going to have specialized teams that are going to be in charge of maintenance of water supply systems. 93%
of Kigali's residents now have a permanent supply of clean water, and another 6-year major $275 million countrywide water project supported by the African Development Bank is currently underway. As always, it's always a pleasure when you join us, and I'm looking forward to seeing you again. Goodbye for now.